Hello and welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is May 14th, 2026. As usual, I've got lots of tweets for you to look at, but let's take a quick look at the markets. We've got a nice little pump today. BTC is up 3%. Hasn't recovered its losses from the past few days, but at least it's recovered some of them. ETH is up about almost 2%. Sonic is up 3.5%. Hype is up 10%. Look at this. But again, it hasn't recovered its losses from the past 3 days. It's just a correction, so to speak. So we'll kind of stick with that and move on to the tweets. Okay, so the first tweet we have here is something that I kind of dropped yesterday, and then Bartek has replied to this. So L2B kind of dropped a pie chart for Gnosis Chain. Gnosis Chain is not really an L2, but it kind of functions like an L2, so L2B has decided to expand their coverage to include Gnosis Chain in their assessments, and they gave them a pretty bad assessment. As you can see, everything is red except the sequencer failure. I'll let you dig into that tweet a little bit more to understand why, but basically Gnosis Chain is not a very good L2, even though it's not really an L2, but it kind of is. But anyways, so you can check that out. But Bartek did reply to them and say like, hey, that's great and all, you can FUD us and so forth. I'm not sure if Bartek is part of no, it looks like he's part of L2Beat actually. So anyway, so he's I am following him too, but anyways, I'm not following L2Beat, which is crazy. So I'll follow them both. So anyways, so Bartek has said EZ is coming soon to Ethereum, and it's fantastic to see Gnosis Chain and this guy here, Zinc VM. I'm not sure who this is, but I'll follow them anyways, leading the effort. So basically what EZ is, or EZ is it's basically interoperability between blockchains. So in the sense that like, in one transaction, you'll be able to do something on one chain, on one L2, as well as on another L2 within a single transaction via this EZE setup. So I'm not an expert on all of this kind of stuff, but it'll, it doesn't remove bridging and stuff like that, but it does allow you to make it more autonomous. And like you could flash loan stuff, you could borrow USDC on Base and ARB, something on Arbitrum, and take your profits on Gnosis Chain. Something like this will be possible with EZE. So you can check into that, dig a little bit deeper, and that's cool. Okay, moving on. So here we have Vinchinikov. I don't know this person, but I should probably follow them because this is a crazy article. So friends, I want to share with you our recent paper. You can click on this. It goes to their GitHub. You can open the GitHub and you can see this crazy mathematical document that's proving some crazy stuff. I tried to read through it, but like I'm not a mathematician and it was really hard. But my takeaway is that like they've kind of solved the idea of LVR. Okay, so if loss versus rebalancing, so they've made this idea that like you can set the fees to mitigate this loss versus rebalancing simply by using this weird Schroeder mathematical formula thing. Again, I'm not very clear on this kind of stuff, but it's good to see that like the people at Curve are doing some crazy math to try to figure this out. Like you can kind of read through this. This is the equation that they're thinking of adding to some of these pools to mitigate or at least get rid of the this loss to rebalancing cancelization. Okay, so check it out. If you are a geek and you are super good at math and you want to know more about this, then here it is. Check it out. Okay, so here we have Automato. Automato is like this monitoring thing that you can put on your cell phone, and it's an app basically, and you can they've integrated Liquidity, so you can open this thing, tell it your troves, and then it will like give you some information once in a while when you need. So like if you see supply rate has rose above 3.5, or your supply rate is currently 4.82, and your health factor so it's a way just to kind of give yourself a little bit more time to touch grass instead of monitoring it all the time. And then I guess because you have this kind of monitoring, you can kind of lever up a little bit more risky, because you can monitor it a little bit more closely, or you don't have to, you can get out and touch some grass. So check this thing out. I haven't downloaded this thing yet, but it's 15k followers. I think it's okay, so you can check it out, but just be careful, like don't give it your seed phrase or anything like that. I'm not sure. So anyway, so moving on here at Fozzy. Yesterday I saw this and I was like, who the hell's this guy, right? What's this? Like, I don't want to say, like, I don't want to judge people by their appearance, but like, look at his hair, man. Like, what's going on with him? Like, how long does it take him to do that every morning? Anyway, so this guy apparently has, he has opened these. He's part of the effort to open Anthropic pre-stock, the pre-market for Anthropic stocks. And yeah, he's made tons of money. So he's super rich, or his product is super rich. People are hungry as hell to ape Anthropic stock before it's live. But Anthropic also like came out, what was it, yesterday or the day before, and said, like, any pre-market Anthropic stock is a scam. We're not going to honor any of it. Don't buy it, blah, blah, blah. And here we have Trustless Stays Bankless obviously they got paid to do this, and doing an interview with these guys, and Fozzy calling them out. Hey, Trustless State, maybe don't have people who have committed shadowy fraud talk about fraud on your podcast. So yeah, that's happening. So again, it's money, money talks and money walks and all that kind of stuff. Let's move on. So here we have, I got 3 stablecoin news things for you. So Rise blockchain, I'm a fan of these guys. I'm not really affiliated with them so much, but I'm still wearing their hat. I still want them to succeed. I really like them and so forth. But anyhow, so they have launched a native stablecoin called USDR. It's built by this M0 team, which basically built the MetaMask and Exodus stable coins as well. Okay, so you can check that out. That's happening. I do hear that they are going to, maybe next week, they're going to start like rolling out more of the ecosystem. So it's not just like a perp chain. It'll be more like an actual chain, ecosystem chain with like projects and so forth. So please check that out. Check this out too if you want. Moving on, we have another stable coin. So we have USSD is live on. So this is I believe it's a Frax Finance modeled, Frax FRX USD modeled stablecoin native to Sonic, and now you can use that to mint FUSD on Flying Tulip on Sonic. So people before were always talking about, Andre rugged Sonic, he didn't even put Flying Tulip on Sonic. But as you can see, the roadmap is moving forward. They are integrating Sonic. They are bringing utility to Sonic via this Flying Tulip app. So check it out and think about whether or not you want to do this or not. I am biased on this. I have both Flying Tulip tokens and I have minted FUSD and I am farming it. Okay, so check that out. Moving on, here we have Ramses. Ramses is retweeting this article by Native Markets. So USDH is the native stablecoin of Hyperliquid, but as you can see, a new era for Hyperliquid stablecoins. Thank you for using USDH. USDH is sunsetting. So native stablecoin of Hype is getting closed down. So yeah, that's happening. So these native stablecoins per chain, per ecosystem, they're a little bit questionable, but I do think they're not a terrible idea, because an ecosystem should have a decent US stablecoin of their own that kind of gives back to the ecosystem. And I would much rather use a native stablecoin than USDC if I can avoid it, right? Moving on. So here we have Kemes. So he did this thread here and he tagged me in it. So I read through it and I said this basically. So you can read through the thread and you can learn more about Forta and what Forta does. But basically, my point is, like, what do you think, right? So you asked me, what are your thoughts on inference security? And I said, it's a good thread. I agree. Preemptive action is what we need. Monitor and pause if suspicious, then unpause if okay. So basically, we want proper breaker switches and proper things that just like, like we don't want to just like figure out what went wrong. We want to try to avoid the things from going wrong. So we can do that by auditing, by peer reviewing, by testing, but then we can also do it by being paranoid. Okay, whenever we see a large a contract deploy, we can quickly check it. Like obviously not manually, like have the automated bots. Now this is a service again. I talked about another service yesterday. I think a hypernative, and I think these are what we need in the ecosystem more and more. Specialized security providers that all they do is they just figure out the best way to monitor stuff and to trigger these pause switches. Okay, moving on. You have Sapiro, LexNode. He let me read what he says here. If a token provides on-chain value, it's a network token. If a token provides off-chain value, it's not a network token and likely remains subject to security laws. In a nutshell, why I think many projects will still want dual token equity post clarity. So yeah, like if you see a token that is getting its yield from T-bills or getting its yield from bank deposits or even centralized exchange, hyper micro trading or the basis trade or anything like this where it's not all completely on chain, then you want it to be something that is compliant. So make sure you're investing in projects or you're holding your assets in projects that are compliant or completely 100% immutable on chain. Okay, so moving on. For example, Frax Finance is probably the one I like the most for being compliant because they are DeFi native, they understand how DeFi works, but they're also spending a lot of effort to become compliant or they already are completely compliant based on the current rules. But anyway, so yesterday I did a tweet and I kind of shared a bunch of projects that are using FRX USD instead of USDC as their other token, and CoinShift is one of them that I mentioned, USPC. And as you can see, their peg keeper pool has gotten to almost $500,000, $1 million in liquidity. That's great. So I'm happy to see that. Again, I don't know too much about this USPC, but I do hold FRX USD and I like it, so I'm going to continue to use it. But I think more projects should use Frax USD if they're planning on using USDC, they should at least consider using Frax instead or alongside of it. Okay, moving on. So Mark Zeller of Alve, he's tweeted this out. It's basically a 3-step hyper secure wallet management system. Okay, so first of all, he's like, get a hardware wallet. Stop using just MetaMask seed phrases. Get a hardware wallet. So yeah, we can all say yes to that, but now he's like also make the screen human readable as opposed to like a ledger which just throws like numbers at you. Something that has like a screen that can now understand what the transaction does and give you something that you can read and look at carefully. He says import your hardware wallet into Ombre. So Ombre is a wallet. I still use Rabby and I haven't used Ombre before, but I think I might take a look at it and see if I do like it, but I haven't used it before. But he's saying use that because they're cooking, and he said he thinks they have the best user experience, and you can check simulations and stuff like that. But I can do that on Rabby too, but I don't know, maybe Ombre is good. And then he's here. So he's create a safe, even if it's one-to-one, use Tenderly simulations. So that's pretty great too, especially if you're like, if you're depositing something or you're going to do some sort of large net worth transaction, you might want to double check it and stuff like that. But I think the main, the thing he think he's missing here is many wallets. Have multiple wallets. Like sometimes you want to do some degen stuff. You want to like, ape into like new coins and stuff like that. Maybe that's something you want to do, and you just have a clean like wallet for that purpose. And I think that has a lot of clout or a lot of benefits to your own security thing. Okay, so and then he gives you this bonus one: create a hot wallet without any funds, make it a proposer on your safe, give the private key to an agent to generate the transactions and batches it for you. No more clicking buttons, no more clunky UIs, just prompt and verify simulations in each layer and sign it. So basically what he's saying is, make the multi-sig wallet a 101 so you can sign it, or a 2 of 2, or whatever many wallets you want to use, right? And then also add a wallet to that can propose transactions. And then give that new wallet to an AI agent, tell it exactly what you want to do. It'll generate the transaction, it'll send it to the safe, and then you can verify it with Tenderly and so forth. And I did tweet out I did share an app yesterday. I'll have to dig through the tweets for it, but I did share an app yesterday that allows you to really like just take a transaction from the safe before you sign it, put it in there, and it'll decode it all for you and give you all the like exactly what it's going to do, and it's all off-chain stuff. So it was really cool. I should probably find it, and then I can share that with you in this tweet. Okay, the last tweet for today is Alchemix. Alchemix is just tweeting out that they are using auto pools. Auto pools is like basically a yield aggregator, kind of like Yearn Finance. And they're using them as one of their strategies for their vaults. So if you are in auto pools, you can consider using Alchemix instead, because Alchemix is kind of sending a large amount of their money to auto finance anyways. And then you can also use your deposits as collateral to mint the tokens on Alchemix if that's something you want to do, if you want to lever up, if you want to borrow versus it, or you want to do some of that stuff with. So Alchemix is a pretty cool product. Self-repaying loans. It's a complicated system now, so you have to watch my video or read the docs and understand it better. But I think it's worth checking out. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope this has been useful and interesting, and thank you for watching, and goodbye.